Internet, what is up? Weapons Free Wednesday, number 60 is here, and this episode of the podcast is brought to you by our good folks over at Unity Tactical. Unity Tactical, they make amazing stuff. We've been using their stuff for quite some time. We're good friends of the company. We know them well, and we're happy to have them on board with us for 2024. They got some exciting products they dropped at SHOT Show, namely the gas cap and their new link system that's part of the Axon switching suite that uses a USB-C adapter on a push-button tail cap to give you some dual connectivity there. You can either use the push-button and tail cap, or you can plug that remote switch in with that USB-C link system, and you can run a remote switch simultaneously with that thing. And they've got lots of multiple functions. They have also their own 4-power magnifier coming out, and they have the fast optic mount suite. So they kind of spearheaded the whole flip to center for optics magnifiers in conjunction with using a red dot sight. For a long time, I love that capability, but it would annoy me that the magnifier would flip one way or the other. And if you flipped it inboard, it gets caught on your gear. And if you flipped it outboard, sometimes it gets in your way while you're trying to get observation on moving targets at distance. So it was kind of annoying. And so they solved that problem by doing the industry first flip to center fast mounts for magnifiers. So they make really cool stuff. We love their kit. We use it on all of our stuff, all of our guns. So go check them out. UnityTactical.com and on the gram at UnityTactical. Okay, let's fucking get into it. We've got some things to talk about for Weapons Free Wednesday number 60. Let's fucking G-O.
Cause I'm so fucking good! Get some, baby! Get some! Get some! Get some! Get some! Get some! Come on! Get it! Come on! Get some! Get some! Yeah! 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 I got you, brother!
Okay, we're here.
Well, cack.
I hate that fucking look on your face right now. Cheers. Green Dragon. Thanks, Sons of Liberty Gunworks.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, it's some Green Dragon Sherry here.
They made it strong, too. It's like
Yeah.
57.5.
Yeah, it's not fucking around.
Sherry cask bourbon.
Sherry cask bourbon.
Alamo Distilling Company and Sons of Liberty Gunworks. Good
Yeah.
job, boys.
Excellent work. That's been our go-to for podcasting for the last few podcasts, so it's pretty good. It's not too bad. Okay. Oh, Jesus, I almost spilled. God damn.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Okay. Well, here we are. Number 60. So when the podcast goes out, when Todd's podcast goes out next week, we will be at 120 episodes deep.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. It's kind of a benchmark. I mean, we obviously probably should have closed, in on that number sooner, but I like having a little bit of time off, as I know you do, because you have an interesting schedule, especially in the wintertime when you're building skis.
I have a lot of work.
And
different seasons.
Yeah, and so it's good for you to get a little bit of breathing room, especially during the holiday season, to take a break from editing.
Yeah.
Because you're in it heavily.
And you do. You get burnt out trying to keep up with the content monster all the time.
You do. Heavily burned out on it.
It's good to have a break.
Yeah. Yeah, it is good to have a break and have some downtime. So, here we are. The year is fucking rocking and rolling. And
Do you want to start with your DD saga?
no, I mean, we can start with the DD saga, or we can talk about the retro things that are becoming cool, old things that are becoming new things.
The cycle of life?
Yeah, what pick one? Fucking pick one.
Okay, so the retro thing being cool stems from my annoyance at Warm Fuzzy and Noveski.
Both of which are great companies.
They're both great companies.
We love them
but
dearly.
They basically released what I had built before they had released it, and it would have been way easier for me to just buy it straight from them.
Then build it. Then
build it myself
out
and piece it together, with unicorn parts.
Well, I think we need to be clear about something. Like, you and I are trendsetters, because we have these conversations about retro builds and like certain types of gear or design related things that we want to see, like accessory wise, that we discuss, and sometimes we even catch them out, and we sketch them out, and Polygenesis catches up with us, and like your hand guard idea for the that goes over the suppressor that SLR Rifle Works did, that you sketched out literally 2 fucking years before they
correct
launched it.
We're like, hey, someone should do this and have it be modular. And then 2 years later, I'm like taking a shit on Instagram, and then like I see SLR post their rail.
Yeah, I remember that.
Over the suppressor.
I remember that. You're in the bathroom, and all of a sudden I hear this motherfucker from the bathroom. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? And you came out, and you were like, look at this shit. And it was, sure enough, literally exactly what you sketched.
Pretty damn close. And I mean, I like SLR Rifle Works. I have their mag wells and stuff.
Yeah, they
do a good job.
Yeah, they do a good job.
You have a rail on your AK?
Yeah, I mean, I did a complete SLR Rifle Works, like futuristic Call of Duty, like Modern Warfare clone build for my son.
Right. Yeah, that one. It looks all spacey.
Yeah.
Their machine.
Yeah.
Styling.
Yeah. It looks really cool. It looks cool. And it actually shoots good, too. That gun actually shoots good. It's got like a Roscoe, like 10.5 Bloodline barrel in it or something, and it's got all the SLR it's got upper and lower receiver SLR, and then the rail is too, the handguard is too, and it looks good. It's awesome. We put an onset light on it and put a Trigicon MRO and some Scalar Works Co-Witness iron sights on it, and he loves that thing. Polygenesis is a thing.
It is totally a so industry trends are a thing, and specifically we're talking about carry handles being cool again.
Carry handles are back in style, folks.
And then all of a sudden, SHOT Show had a plethora of lever actions that had M-LOK rails.
Yeah. Yeah. I think fucking Ambrosia Terrebonne had like a really good rant about that on
his page.
And I'm inclined to agree with him. You know,
I agree with him, but I'm a guilty owner of a hot-rodded carry handle Noveske build.
Right, but you ideated that thing and you built it literally before. What did they call that rifle? The Nightcap?
The Nightcap, yeah.
So Warm Fuzzy collaborated with Noveske, and they did this like carry handle retro 300 black. But Cato actually came up with it, spec'd it, and had it built probably, 6 months before they dropped that thing?
No. It was like, because it cleared when my can cleared, and that was like a year and a half ago.
Oh. So you built that like a year before they did. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, what's old?
I got a slick side carry handle upper, and I got a Noveske barrel that was 300 black, 10 and a half. Then I got a Zev lower, and I got a Geisley rail. I put it all together with an aim point on top. Mm-hmm. And then everyone was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Blood Diamond build.
Right.
Gordon clones.
Yes. Correct.
Yep.
And let's just talk about how good that motherfucker shoots, though.
It's a good gun.
We took it out today, as a matter of fact.
Yep.
And after we were done being annoyed at my Daniel Defense, my DD5V3 saga, which we'll get into in a second, we played around with that thing. And it's just, I'm telling you what, especially after like banging away with that big ass, 7.62 bullet.
Yep.
It was really nice to get on that little gun that's, shooting 300 black subs, and it's just like, it's like shooting a fucking 22.
Yeah,
just like,
it was like a little toy. And it's well-tuned, and it's gassed properly.
Yeah, it is gassed properly.
It feels like a little sewing machine. You just feel the bolt cycle.
Yep, and it's so quiet.
Yeah.
And you were successfully, like today we had a little fun evolution of like, see how far we can shoot the sub.
Yeah.
What are those? Those are 200 grain?
Those are 200 grain Winchester range plinking ammo.
Yeah. Subsonic 200 grain Winchester plinking ammo. And we shot groups at 50? Mm-hmm. And it was one MOA group with plinking ammo.
Yeah, it was like an inch group at 50, so it might be 2 MOA with subs at 100.
Yeah. So we then printed a couple groups just to see, and it was shooting damn good.
Yep.
And then we
5-round groups, not 3.
Yeah,
they were all 5-round groups.
5-round groups.
Inch at 50.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe one. The one I shot might have been sub MOA.
It was a line breaker. It counts.
So, but it was good. And then you started doing double tap drills, and the 100 plate was fucking easy pickings. Then you stretched it out to 200.
Yep.
And
we had 3 people shoot that gun today, all hitting at 200 yards.
No problem.
Yeah.
Easy. Doing double taps at fucking 200 with that gun. Yeah.
Ding, ding.
Yep.
Ding, ding.
Yep, correct.
Yeah.
And then you stretched it all the way out to 3 and hit the 300 plate twice.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. And I was like, what's your holdover on that? And you're like, I don't know. I'm like holding out next to the 400-meter target.
So I took the plate, and if my 200 yard was an entire torso width high,
which
with
it was.
R0,
Which it nearly was.
Yeah. I just doubled it at 300. So I was holding 2 torso widths high, or 2 torso lengths high, and just holding on a black spot on the hill, like vertically above the plate. Squeeze one off. Ding.
Yeah, you hit it twice. 2 shots, 2 hits. And you're like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah. And the dude over there's like, what?
Yeah, he's like, what the fuck?
I mean, he was shooting a nice gun. He had a Seekins AR-10 and 6.5.
I mean, it's nice to see what subsonic can actually do if you know what the fuck you're doing and you know how to like shoot a gun well and you know how like your marksmanship principles are good and you know how to do how to use your holdover properly.
This is a red dot.
It's a red dot.
Yep.
We were banging the 300-yard plate with 200 grain sub
with a red dot.
With a red dot.
Blackout, 10.5-inch gun.
Yeah. So
Kevin Brittingham did something right.
Yes, he did. Thanks, Kevin. You're a swell guy.
Thanks, Noveski. That's a great barrel.
Yeah, the barrel is fucking, I think, the secret ingredient in that gun. I mean, Noveski, they just do a fucking sick job.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want a high-end AR, like, they're one of the companies definitely to go to. Like, my next AR build is definitely going to be a Noveski build for sure. I'm going to do myself a little special.
Navy SEAL gun?
I'm going to do myself a Navy SEAL gun.
Yeah. It does shoot well.
Yeah.
They're 11.5.
Yeah. Yeah, they do a great job over there. So
yeah, all of a sudden this year at SHOT Show, everyone had a carry handle build. You know, they're all making like the old Bushmasters.
Well, who was it from the firearms blog? Did what company was that brought the retro like M16A like
Bushmaster
A2? Was that Bushmaster?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. They brought their like M16A2 and then their like Car 15.
Yeah, like the kitty cat.
Yeah.
The old teeny tiny one.
Yeah. Yeah, they brought their carrying handle.
Do you think it just stems from like us all growing up and then being fascinated with, you know, what we couldn't have as a child or what we were ogling as posters as a child, and now we can have them?
Well, yeah. I just think that it's strange that like the things that I grew up with in the late 80s, early 90s have like made this like cool comeback. You know, they're like, and it's not just in the gun industry. It's like in the snowboarding industry. Like I'm starting to watch like color trends and like things that are like people are starting to wear. And like we've gone from like late 80s crazy. I mean, the neon colors are still prevalent, but like you're starting to see like the big baggy clothes come back that were like, you know, prevalent from when I was like pushing a little board with wheels around and riding a snowboard. Is we had those big like baggy Jinko jeans that were like cut off at the bottom with fucking chain wallets and like big baggy like shirts.
You're going to start wearing the long sleeve
and you're
under the T-shirt, or is that 90s? That's 90s kind of.
Yeah. And you're starting to see that shit come back. You're starting to see it come back on the mountain. I can't remember where we were driving to the village, and it was like, I think were we going to Teton Tai? Maybe we were going to Teton Tai, and there was people walking in the parking lot to their cars, and I was like looking at their clothing, and it's total like late 90s fucking like grunge big fucking baggy clothes again. And
I feel like
holy
they're
shit.
probably just snowboarders, and that's always in fashion with snowboarding.
Yeah, I mean,
and
maybe.
park scene.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen some skiers wearing baggy shit that are like doing fucking huge flips off the kickers on the side of the mountain. So, I just feel like, you know, what's old is new again, and that's strange to me because
I think it's a fascination with what we couldn't have when we were younger, and now we're old. We can have it all.
Yeah.
Kind of like how you don't buy Legos for your kids, you buy Legos for yourself, but you have to share them with your kids, right?
Well, or you get them like the Batman Lego set, and you're over there with your Star Wars Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, like the $4,000 set.
Yeah, you're like building your Millennium Falcon right next to your kid while they're like building their Batmobile, Lego Batmobile.
I mean, that's part of my fascination with MP5.
Yeah.
So when I was growing up, that was the cool subgun that everyone had, and you could see them on like the Hong Kong SWAT guys who were trained by the SBS and the SAS. And so I was always like, ooh, MP5s are cool.
I mean, MP5s are cool. MP5s are cool.
They've made a comeback too.
They have made a comeback. It helps that they're at like Heckler & Koch's actually selling
Yeah.
real MP5s in the United States now, which they just started doing that, like a year and a half ago? Last year?
2 years ago.
Is it
Something
2
like
years?
that, around COVID.
So it's cool that they're selling actual real MP5s. And you've been trying to get me to buy one for a hot minute, and I'm probably going to do it. Probably going to do it at some point. Although
I think everyone should have like a 1022, an MP5, and like a good bolt gun, and an AR, and a Glock,
and a shotgun.
and a Beretta. And you'd probably be good.
And an AK.
Well, not just any AKs. I don't know. That's a whole different, that's like an hour conversation.
Well, I think Mike Jones, old Mr. Grantham, proved during his like frozen weapon test that like the AK was the best performing, like just a shitty.
Not everyone lives in Winterfell.
I mean, we do. That's why it's important.
Right, but like Marcus has no...
Right.
He doesn't get much snow.
Right.
Neither does anyone in Arizona or, you know, Nick in San Diego.
It's a good cold weather choice is what I'm saying, people. The AK is a good cold weather choice because it just fucking runs. There's a reason why. I mean, the Russians that, you know, Siberia.
Look at the people that designed it.
Yeah, look at the people that designed it and where they live. They live in fucking Siberia. So, yes, of course, like, it's going to run good in the wintertime as it should. So, if you're like us and you live in fucking north of the wall, you know, you're wildlings and you live north of the wall. It's a Game of Thrones reference, people. If you haven't watched Game of Thrones, you're like failing at life. It's a good choice. It's a good platform choice. So, yeah, DD5V3 Saga.
Where do you start?
So our good friends, I mean, I think we talked about it a little bit last time, and we talked a little bit about our frustrations with it. So our fucking local pal, old Mr. Beretta Fish, a.k.a. fucking Spaghetti Gun, let us borrow a
Vortex
4.5 to 27.
Yeah, Razor HD Gen 2.
Yeah. Although it did take him his fucking sweet ass time to get it to us, Spaghetti Gun. Next time, Chip Chop, we got fucking timelines and schedules and editing things to do. So don't fuck off so long next time when we need things. But thank you. Thank you for letting us borrow your scope. And I'm busting his balls because he lives literally like 15 minutes away, and it took him like, what, a full fucking week and a half almost to drop it by the house. And he's 15 minutes away, you know.
We're all busy.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, fucking Spaghetti Gun.
Yeah, well.
He was able to fucking, I really feel like that helped out a lot today in like figuring some shit out. First of all, it's just nice to be able to see at 100 yards exactly where a bullet's hitting on the target without using a spotting scope. So that's awesome. But what had happened was we got this rifle because of my relationships with Daniel Defense and the things that I've done with him in the past. And I've got some good homies over there. They were like, hey, man, let us send you a gun. What do you want? And I was like, well, I need a fucking 308 7.62 gas gun because I've got 5.56 guns coming out of my ass. So I was like, let's do a big kid. Let's do a large frame AR.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So we did. I was like, okay, well, I like versatility in all my guns. So I wanted something a little that maybe I could use as a battle rifle or maybe I could use as an SPR, a heavy SPR. So, or a DMR. We'd call that a DMR, right? All these new fangled terms.
It's a gun. It's the long barrel. It goes bam.
There's the reason we're talking about this is because there's like there's things going on YouTube with like everybody's
Rain Man levels of
Rain Man levels.
Categorization on what scope and what gun barrel length and what bullet categorizes it into what. I think it stems from having like 52 genders. We now have to have like 52 categories for what kind of rifle that thing is.
Correct. Yeah. They're getting a little bit ridiculous on YouTube and in the gun nerd community about like, first of all, everybody has decided they hate the term recce rifle, which a recce gun was it was a 14.5 gun that had an LPVO or an MPVO, which is a medium power variable optic. I've been educated as of recently, is more than 1 power. So 1.5, is that what you're saying? 1.5 can be an MPVO?
It depends if you ask the Reddit nerds or if you ask Bruiser.
Yeah, so...
He has strong opinions on
old Joe Dawson. Shout out to Joe Dawson. Love that guy. So even though he's a Navy SEAL, we still like him. So the recce rifle was a 14.5 that was usually suppressed, had an LPVO or MPVO on it to give it like some additional capability. And it was really designed so that like it was designed for reconnaissance and observation. However, if you needed to shoot at distance, it gave you that capability. Or it was still kind of short enough because it's that 14.5 length, and that's what we grew up on as carbines in the GWAT. It was still short enough that you could clear rooms with it, even with a suppressor on it. So
yes,
you might have to do a little short stocking to get in some tight spots, but you could still clear rooms with it, and you could reach out to distance. And so that's what we called a recce gun. But reading an article on the Gun Warehouse blog. Gun Mag Warehouse blog. That was actually a really good article. I can't remember the dude that wrote it, but it was actually a really good article, and enjoyed it reading through it because he did a pretty comprehensive breakdown of, oh yeah, here it is, Gun Mag Warehouse. He did a very comprehensive. Let me see who wrote this again so I can give him the credit he is due. Although he went over a little bit overboard on his cuntiness about the term recce. People, for whatever reason, don't like it. Let me see.
Is it the spec or is it the task?
Oh, shit. It's our fucking buddy, Frank Woods. Okay, thanks, Frank.
Yeah.
Thanks for writing this, Frankie. Frankie, you did a great job on this article. I'm going to tell you, I really like it. You did a great job, Frank. So our buddy Frank Woods wrote this, and I need to get him on the podcast.
So if you're doing recce in, say, a vehicle blind, in, say, a city street, and you have a 1022 with a 1 to 8 on it, is it a recce rifle? Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Is it also an SPR, which is a special purpose rifle?
Yes.
Right.
Because of the caliber.
That's why it's stupid. The arguments are stupid.
Yeah, I mean, the arguments are a little bit fucking
It's fun to categorize.
They're a little bit mundane.
And it's good to have, to just tell people, and they have an idea.
So, yeah.
But when you break it down so much, it's like, well, each individual gun is its own thing, so why are you categorizing them?
Yeah, I mean, like, realistically, like...
I could hand Joe Bruiser a 1022, and he could outshoot someone with, a Mark 12.
Right. He has a good shot, from what I understand. Hopefully we can get to one of his classes. So Frank categorized these into like GPR, which stands for General Purpose Rifle, then SPR, which is Special Purpose Rifle. What else? Then there's CQR, which is the shorter gun, so like a pistol, an AR pistol or a SBR length is a CQR, which stands for Close Quarters Rifle. And then PDW, and then, I think that's it. Oh, no, and then your DMRs, or battle rifles. There's battle rifles, which are 7.62 caliber, and then there's the DMR. And so to kind of give you how deep the rabbit hole goes for a lot of you that are listening out there that don't have extensive gun nerd fucking levels of, like, knowledge that we do.
It's like, that's a pencil, but that's a 2B pencil.
Right.
That one's a 2H pencil.
Yep.
But you can get them sharp, like shortened. Mm-hmm. Like the pencil could be short or long.
Yep.
But it could still be a 2B or a 2H.
Yeah, it gets.
But that one's illegal because it's got an eraser on the end of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's about as like dumb as you can break it down.
Yeah, but yes, you're correct, and that's a great analogy of like how stupid people have gotten with the categorization of weapons into this area. So like a battle rifle, it's a 7.62, 308 for you American folks, but it's like a 14.5 to 16-inch gun, like 7.62 gun with like a red dot on it or iron sights, and that's considered with a 20-round box mag. That's considered a battle rifle. But then if you take that same gun in those same lengths and you put a LPVO on it or an MPVO on it and a suppressor and a bipod, you're getting a DMR, which is designated marksman rifle because it's more for precision applications instead of like battle rifle fighting human things. So anyway, I digress. That's a good article.
So dumb.
Go check it out. gunmagwarehouse.com blog rifle types.
Because an FAL, which is arguably one of the most historically significant battle rifles ever made.
Listen, let's not get
has a barrel length of 21 inches.
I think a HKG3 is way more iconic than that, but
I think Frank's full of shit. I kid. I say that in jest.
I think it was a good article, and there's some
It is a good article.
It's a good article. It's got some fancy graphs on there, and it's got some great looking like visual representation. Like he's got great pictures of gun examples on here. So
gun porn, gun porn.
Nerd gun porn. Go check out MagLife blog.
Okay, so what's wrong with your DD?
So this is a 16-inch 308 gun. So like we set it up in a battle rifle configuration. We got it out of the box. We dropped a 4-power Spectre, Elcan Spectre, 1-4 on it. And we said, okay, what can this thing do in a battle rifle configuration? And then we had 3 different types of ammo. We had the M80 ball, which is standard issue NATO 147 grain. Then we had 168 grain Black Hills, because that's my favorite. Mm-hmm. And then we had a little bit of Winchester 175 grain match. And it absolutely hated pretty much all the ammo we put in it, especially the Winchester, it threw the Winchester completely off the target.
Mm-hmm.
And we were holding like 4 to 4.5 MOA, which means our shot groups were it was a 4-inch spread at 100.
Yeah.
Which is, it's bleh. Okay, that is not what you want, people.
No, like you could throw a rock more accurately.
Yeah, it was bad. And we put about, I think, 80 rounds through the gun.
Yeah.
So, like, sometimes there's break-in.
Getting the optic zeroed and doing all that stuff.
Now,
trying to get it as zeroed as you can with 4 MOA.
Here's what I'm going to say, because I do, that gun, full disclosure, that gun was given to me. I do have a relationship with Daniel Defense. I have consulted with them in the past. I do believe they're a great company. They do make good products. I have fucking sent jihadis to the next life with their products. I have shot their guns for a really long time. I have several of them. Their other guns usually shoot really good. This one just is kind of meh right now. So
yeah, I've shot Mark 18s that have been fantastic, and I've shot the DD bolt action that's been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
It's lights out to like 1200 that we've shot it to here. 308.
Yeah, that bolt gun that TC bought, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Shout out to our homie TC. Our minion, as it were. Big congratulations to him because he got hired by the Game and Fish, and he's in Game and Fish boot camp right now.
He's in boot camp.
Yeah, he's gonna do well.
He's living cops.
He is gonna do well because he's a fit kid, and he likes to shoot. So
he qualified. He shot 100 out of 100.
Of course he did.
Yeah,
he's gonna do well.
Yeah,
we're excited for him. Plus, I'm gonna be able to like call him on the phone now and be like, dude, where the fuck?
Right.
Tell me what areas the elk are hanging out.
Hey, where are there no game cams?
Yeah, where are there no game cams and there's the elk hanging out?
But yeah, this gun was not shooting well with multiple types of ammo and 2 different shooters.
Right. So the gun
out of the box.
So the gun aesthetic. It's an aesthetic looking gun. It looks good.
Oh, the controls are great.
The gun looks good. The controls are good. So I'm going to talk about what I liked about the gun. The gun is aesthetic. It looks good. It was lightweight. As far as battle rifles go, I felt it was lightweight. And I liked the controls. It's got ambi, like mil-spec ambi safety, which I tend to like. And then it's got ambi magazine release and bolt release on it. Now,
and it's not like we like the ambi controls. We like how they machined it so that the part is an integral piece and not 2 parts trying to leverage each other.
Correct, yeah.
Like all your ambi controls, they seem like machined 1 part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so it is proprietary to their platform, but, who cares?
Well, what I liked
about SR25, almost everything's proprietary to whatever company.
Right.
Yeah.
I liked the fact that the ambi controls, the bolt release actually is slick. It runs good.
Yep.
Like I don't have to be like use my retard gorilla strength to push the fucking.
You're not Hulk Hoganing the side of the gun. Trying to press this button.
Yeah. That's been my complaint with a lot of ambi controls is like on that right side, you're just like pushing it as hard as you can and it won't release.
Yep.
This one's just like tap, click, boom, fucking.
Yep. Bolt
home. Goes home, which I like. So hats off to them on the ambi controls. Shootability, it's good. It's a short platform. It's a 16-inch. It's got good maneuverability. It's lightweight. I like to shoot it. It was great. Things that I didn't like were the
suppressed gas block adjustable 2-position.
Yeah, it's got a 2-position gas
job.
block on it. Yeah, good job on that. So you can you've got 2 positions, shoot it, suppress, unsuppressed.
It was not like the dude next to us with the Seekins with the Allen keys trying to figure it out.
Right.
It was stupid simple. Suppressed, unsuppressed.
Yeah, which I like. I don't like the variable
They never work, man.
No, those are trash. Yeah, if you're out in the market to buy a adjustable gas block for your weapon system, get suppressed, unsuppressed. You got 2 options. Click, click. That's it. You don't want to be trying to fine tune. It's just it's a nightmare. It's I don't like it. It takes a long time. Takes a lot of ammunition to find your perfect operating. And then if you take the can off, or you decide to shoot without the can for the day, then
or you shoot in the winter.
Yeah, or you shoot in the winter, or you put a different can on it, and you think it's gonna work good. There's a lot going on with that, and I just prefer simplicity with those things. So I advise on that. The shootability was good, however, except for the trigger. The trigger. So here's the 2 things that I hated more than anything: the butt stock and the trigger were absolute trash. The pistol grip's great. I do like the rubbery raised texture on the pistol grip. I like the pistol grip, the vertical angle on the pistol grip. I do not like the rubberized texture on the fucking buttstock because it rips my fucking beard hair out while I'm
I've
shooting.
never liked those.
Yeah.
Some people do, but not us.
No, I do not like it.
I like the grip.
Yeah, so the trigger was the absolute most horrific thing that I've experienced on a gun out of the box. Like, it wasn't, it's like, it's not mil-spec.
It was like textbook bad mil-spec.
Yeah, it was textbook, terrible, super heavy. I made a joke about it being 18 pounds. I don't know what it really was, but it was terrible.
We should actually.
I mean, it was so bad. And real, to be honest with you, like, my homie over at Daniel warned me. He's like, hey, this is the gun you want. This is what you asked for. I'm going to send it to you, but I'm just going to tell you right now, the triggers in these are not great. And I was like, okay. And he was, in fact, correct. The trigger was trash.
Now remember who you're dealing with. It's Daniel Defense. They're designed to fulfill a contract requirement. Mm-hmm. So, hey, there's your mil-spec trigger.
But it wasn't mil-spec. It was like heavier, way heavier than mil-spec.
Yeah, mil-specs are bad, man.
I mean, I've grown up on mil-spec and 5.56 guns, and I know what it feels like. Like, that ALG trigger is really nice, and that's what I would say is a pretty standard mil-spec.
That's a nice mil-spec, though. Yeah. It's all coated, and the angles are proper.
Yeah, but it's not like, I know what mil-spec feels like, and this was heavier. It was gross. It was heavier, chunkier, it was gross. So we shot 4.5-inch groups out of all, like, the Winchester flew off the page. We hit paper with one round of the Winchester, and we didn't have much of that. I think we had like 7 or 8 rounds of that. 6 or 7 of them went 6 went somewhere, 7 hit the paper, then we were out of that ammo. And then the M80 ball, which we had a lot of, was garbage. And then the 168 grain still didn't fucking group well either. It was still a 4-minute group.
Yep.
And so we were like, what the fuck? So I was like, okay, new gun, new barrel, might need some break-in time, might need to like adjust this. And I was like definitely hell-bent on changing the trigger out because I was like, the trigger's got to go. But then what we ended up doing is just saying, fuck it. And we adjusted the gas system, put a suppressor on it, put a bipod on it, put a 4.5 to 27 optic on it, put a way better Magpul SL buttstock on it, and put a new LaRue
trigger,
2-stage MBT trigger in it, which we happen to like. And just for you folks out there that want a good trigger in your gun but don't want to pay Geisley ass rape prices, I'm just going to say it, like, Geisley's awesome. They do make amazing triggers. I have several SSAEs in lots of my guns, but they have just raised their prices continually more and more and more as the years gone by, and now you're paying like a premium.
No, you could buy a whole PSA gun for the price of a Geisley trigger.
It's fucking dumb.
And I don't know what that's saying about either company, but it says a lot.
Right. Yeah. So if you want a really good trigger for not ass raping prices,
for like, under $100,
yeah, you can get a really good trigger with the LaRue MBT. We've put those in a few guns now and shot them, and I'm really happy with that trigger. And today was no exception. So we changed out all those things. We took the gun back to the range today because I'm like, all right, we eliminated all of the variables that it could possibly be.
Yep.
We sat down and shot M80 ball through it again, and we were still getting 4-inch groups. And we were like, what the fuck? And then we put 168 grain through it.
Black Hills.
Match. And we were still getting 4-inch fucking groups.
Mm-hmm.
And then before we went out to the range, I managed to find I think I had a stray box of 20 rounds of 175 M118 LR.
Yep.
Which is 170 Lake City, 175 grain. That's what Marine Corps snipers get issued. And it's usually pretty fucking good ammo. It's not, I wouldn't call it match grade ammo, but it's up there. It's good ammo. And we shot that, and it actually, of course, I was like, watch, we only have 20 rounds of this, because I'm sitting on a case and a half of the Black Hills shit, okay? Because I love Black Hills ammo. It's awesome. The gun hated the Black Hills, which pissed me off. We had 20 rounds of Lake City, and the group tightened down to 2 minutes.
Yep, 2-inch group.
Yep, 2-inch group.
Three 5-round groups that were all around 2-inch.
Mm-hmm. Which still isn't great.
No, that's still kind of like a battle rifle.
Yeah, it is still like a battle rifle.
It's not exactly accurate.
I want a 1 MOA gun, especially if I'm going to use it in the configuration that it is, which is like a fucking DMR.
Yep.
It's set up with a suppressor, and it's either going to get, I'm probably going to put a 4 to 16 Night Force on it, so it's going to have an MPVO on it, but it's going to be set up for precision, and it's not shooting anything I would consider precision right now. So There's a big problem there. So, yeah, even with the Lake City 175 grain we went down to. So I'm like, all right. We did watch YouTube videos where people were shooting...
MOA?
Sub-MOA.
And a half MOA.
That dude that was shooting the federal 175 grain gold match was shooting a .7.
Yeah, but he's part of Leviathan Group, so you don't know if you can actually trust him.
Get the fuck out of here. Okay, fucking hop. Some of our favorite YouTubers apparently have a big beef. They don't like Leviathan Group.
They're just not part of it, so they're angry.
Hating.
It's okay.
It's all right. Anyway,
people were getting half MOA to MOA with multiple different loads of ammo, and this gun was just not doing it with multiple shooters.
Multiple shooters, multiple different types of bullets, just not grouping the way I want it to. So I'm going to probably buy 3 boxes of the Federal Gold Match 175 grain because our good friend Todd Hodnett says if it won't group with Federal Gold Match, send the rifle back.
Yep.
Because that's fucking...
It's the gold standard.
It is good ammo. So we're going to get a few boxes of that, and we're going to run 3 boxes through there, and we're going to do some more grouping in its current DMR configuration. We're going to see what happens. And if the groups tighten up, then I'll know it's an ammo issue, and I will unfortunately have to pay astronomical ass rape prices to fucking buy ammo to shoot through that thing.
It's only like $40 a box.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Fucking dumb. That means a case of it's going to be like $2,000.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, hopefully our ammo sponsors get back to us and get on board. We've got some potentially big ammo sponsors. We're hoping we can pull that off. Okay. Well, U.S. in talks with, like, we were driving to the range, and I listened to the most hypocritical, stupid news blurb while we were listening to the radio. And I can't remember, was it NPR? What were we listening to? Was it NPR or was it CBS News or something?
It was, whatever.
I think it was CBS News.
Yeah,
it was CBS News on the radio. And they're like, President Biden meets with the King of Jordan and discusses, the Israel conflict. And then they had fucking, who's our Secretary of State? Blinken? Is it Blinken? Look this up. I don't know. He's a fucking douche, so I don't pay attention to his name. I think it's Blinken. Blinke, and I think maybe...
Anthony Blinken.
Yeah, Blinken. This fucking idiot. Anyway, this guy was like...
He has a punchable face.
Yeah, we're recommending that the Israelis pull back on their offensive with Hamas, and let's get a humanitarian block. And okay, so first of all, let's just talk about how hypocritical it is, you fucking idiots, that you're taking taxpayer money in the tunes of billions of dollars and giving it to Israel to fucking fight Hamas. And then you're meeting with King of Jordan and being like, yeah, who is a fucking great dude. And Jordan has been a tremendous ally in the war on terror and in the Middle East for us. Like, they're fantastic allies. They have an amazing training center there. They have a very secular Western mentality there. They're fucking well-equipped, well-armed. They're well-trained. They do a good job as our allies there. And you're meeting with them, and then you're going to go back to Israel after you've taken all this money from the U.S. taxpayer to fund said offensive, and then you're going to give them advice to, like, stop the offensive. If I was Netanyahu, I would tell you to shove it up your ass sideways and light a candle to it, is what I would do. Because you have proven in no way, shape, or form that you're qualified to strategize any type of war fighting after the atrocity that your administration conducted on the exfil of Afghanistan. Like, you left $86 billion of shit. 13 fucking service people got killed. You fucking abandoned our allies. You abandoned a bunch of U.S. citizens. It was an atrocity. So you should just sit down and shut the fuck up. There should be absolutely no advice given by your administration whatsoever on what they should do. I'll tell you what they should do, since I've actually, been in war and fought jihadis and fucking been pretty successful at hunting them down and killing them. And I know their mentality. You should not fucking take your foot off the gas pedal. If you're Israel, you just keep fucking going. Because I'd like to remind everybody that these fucks still have 130 Israeli and U.S. hostages stashed away somewhere, either dead or alive somewhere. And if I was Israel, until every single one of those hostages is present and or accounted for, I would not fucking relent. I would continue to fucking kill it wholesale until those hostages are returned. And once the hostages are returned, every single one of them, dead or alive, preferably alive, then we maybe take our foot off the gas pedal and we maybe let some NGOs in the battle space to conduct some humanitarian operations. And then they can have, then maybe we can take a different look. We can take a look at the situation. But until then, if I was Israel, I'd fucking tell the U.S., old Mr. Blinken, to go fuck off, basically.
Right, but there's a couple problems. So the first one is Israel can't do that because we also provide them so much funding that they can't say that to us and not lose funding. They'll just do whatever the hell they want, regardless of what we say.
But they've also proven that they'll go get resources from a different country if we don't provide it to them.
But, hey.
So they can tell us to fuck off.
It's wartime fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Take the bread when they give it to you, right? And then number 2 would be, shit, I lost my train of thought on that one.
Well, here's what we've got going on.
Okay, number 2 would be you have an administration as a mentality of an administration trying to fight a religion, right?
Right.
And Israel's not that way.
Yeah.
They're doing both.
Right.
They're an administrative religion fighting another religion.
Mm-hmm.
So it's no holds barred because they've been doing it for millennia.
Yeah, 3,000
versus like, hey guys,
years.
maybe we should like be politically correct and just have a little ceasefire. And I'm like, none of them want a ceasefire.
Yeah.
They want to be at each other's throat for good.
I mean, you're not wrong. That's how it's been. So for 3,000 years. So once again, I go back to what I said when I originally commented on this in a Weapons Free Wednesday when I was broadcasting from Australia. Is like, if you're not in the conflict zone and you don't understand the nuance of this, you should sit down and shut up. And especially us funding it and then telling them that they should stop. Like that, to me, that is the most hypocritical, stupid, classic fucking Biden administration move. Hey, here's some money and some ammo and some, to fight these guys. But you know what? You should probably you should stop your offensive and you should let some humanitarian aid get in there. And here's why this is bad. It's not that I'm not a humanitarian and that I don't want innocent people to receive aid that they need that are trapped in this shit sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that it's the fact that Hamas is going to utilize that as an opportunity to rearm, re-equip, readjust their plan, and come up with a counteroffensive.
Like they get a 10-minute break between rounds.
Yeah, so that is what Al-Qaeda and the Taliban did to us in Afghanistan because of our dumb bullshit. Like it's a bad course of action. It's a bad plan. If you have the initiative and you have the enemy on the run and you're smashing them, you keep smashing them until they either surrender en masse or until you finish wiping them out or until they, in this case, return all 130 some odd, 32, 34, 136, I don't know what the exact number is, 130 some odd U.S. and Israeli hostages that are being held get returned. Then we can maybe have a fucking ceasefire talk. We can sit and think about that. But until then, I hope they just keep smashing them. And what's awesome is we have an IDF guy that is going to come on the podcast who has been rotating on and off the front lines. I got a hold of him on Instagram and see if he wanted to come on the podcast. And he was like, yeah, I got 2 hours. And I'm like, where are you at right now? He's like, oh, I'm out and out on the line. So he was going to try and fucking
do a podcast from the FOB.
Do a podcast from his patrol base where he's at. And I was like, no, bro, when do you rotate home? Because they've been rotating troops on and off the line to go home and get R&R time with their families. So he said he's going to be rotating back this week. So we're going to get a hold of him and I'm going to get an actual no shit IDF perspective of what is actually going on out there on the front lines and where things are currently at and get kind of my finger on the pulse and figure out straight from the horse's mouth what's up. So I'm looking forward to doing that podcast. Jesus, the Super Bowl drama, the dumb memes and the stupid things that have resulted from the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I forgot the Super Bowl was a thing until I saw the memes on my Instagram and I went, oh yeah, I'm glad I'm not a part of this.
I mean, that's how I know when summer is over is when I go into a place to eat and they've got football and football's on TV again. I'm like, oh, it's fall.
Long exhale.
Yeah. I hate.
I mean, we went to a hockey game and it was fun.
Hockey's cool though. I don't know why I like hockey more than like I'm not. First of all, I'm just not I love combat sports like boxing and
I
wrestling,
like time
judo,
sports.
fucking yeah. You like F1.
I like time sports.
Yeah, F1 is cool. I do. You have turned me on to F1. I do love some F1.
I like those because they're more individual, and it's probably because I didn't get picked when I was little for the team, right?
Yeah,
that's
team
not the
sports.
joke.
Yeah, I just don't enjoy in any way, shape, or form team sports. And realistically, like I think that all these prima donnas that like get paid these like ridiculous like tens of hundreds of millions of dollars to go throw a football around or throw a ball through a hoop.
Or kick it into a goal.
Yeah, I'm just like, no. There should be like a salary cap.
I don't think any athlete should be paid more than our teachers.
Yeah. I don't
care what you do.
Yeah, or our military. I think it's stupid that like dudes that actually go out and like risk their life.
The whole argument that like, well, they generate a bigger industry than like say your teacher or your average soldier, right? Like these 20 people are in charge of like a $4 billion industry because they all watch these like 60 people all try and throw a ball into a hoop.
Yeah.
Or 120 athletes or whatever sport it is, right?
Yeah, I just don't understand like the psychosis around it and like the absolute fixation that it is. Like it's just, I have way better things to do than like watch people.
Was it give them bread and games and they will be content and not
circus.
revolt?
Bread and circus.
Bread and circus, yeah.
Yeah, it's an old, I don't remember who originally said that quote.
Well, it was true 1,000 years ago, and it's
in
true
Rome.
now.
It was a Roman emperor, I believe, that said that. I don't remember exactly who.
Biggest dickus.
Right. So anyway,
Monty Python.
Super Bowl things happened. Apparently, one of the teams won. Who the fuck cares? I'm just glad football season is now over.
Yeah.
So we can focus on like maybe more important things like the crazy election that's about to unfold, which I have not been keeping up with at all. I am like absolutely out of the loop on all things that have been happening with the election, which is kind of sad because I should probably pay closer attention because I think this is going to be one of the craziest elections in our fucking history that I've lived to see so far. So I should probably be paying attention. I'll tell you one thing that I'm definitely paying attention to is these fucking new bills that have been coming down the pipe. The recent one is S3589, which is the what is it? Let me look it up. I have it right.
The anti-Mike Glover bill.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Everything is an anti-Mike Glover bill.
Yeah, correct. Where is it? Hold on. I'm going to find it.
They're personally targeting me.
Yeah, it's the Prohibition of Unauthorized Private Paramilitary Activity bill, which just...
If you are not Eric Prince, you are not allowed to get together.
I just think it's crazy that, like, this is a fucking wild. I mean, it's a complete violation of our constitutional rights. People will argue with me on that. The fucking idiots out there will be like, arguing about like, and well-regulated militia. They will argue what am I looking for? The semantics. They'll argue the semantics on what the definition of a well-regulated militia is, and they'll immediately point to the National Guard. Oh, the National Guard, that's what they meant by the National Guard. Well, no, the fucking National Guard, I mean, yes, is technically ran by the state, but it's also part of the federal government and can be federalized as they did in the wake of January 6th, where they had all those National Guardsmen come in and set up fucking a huge fence around the Capitol building and fucking fence it off and then walk post. So...
I don't agree with it, man. I'm just following orders.
Right. So, yeah, how many times have we heard that in history? I was just following orders. So, basically what they're doing with this bill is they've presented it. It hasn't gone anywhere yet, but it has been presented. And guess who did it? Let's just talk about that. Like, accountability is a thing. Senator Ed Markey, who is a big shocker. He's a fucking Democrat from the fine state of Massachusetts. Okay, there's some cool people in Massachusetts, but they traditionally have been fucking left-wing lunatics over there. So this is no different than anything else
The
we've
state
seen.
that started the fuck you, the world.
Right. The state where our country's revolution fucking kicked off during the Boston Tea Party. Is the state that now tries to fucking subvert and destroy our constitutional rights. So in this particular bill, they're talking about unauthorized private military, and it said, it shall be unlawful to knowingly in a circumstance described in subsection B while acting as part or on behalf of a private paramilitary organization and armed with a firearm, explosive or incendiary device, or under other dangerous weapon to publicly patrol, drill, or engage in techniques capable of causing bodily injury or death. Okay, so what they basically just said is that it is illegal to go train. It's illegal to go take a class. Like you're technically, if this law were to be passed, it would be illegal to go to a class, a training class, a firearms training class, and shoot rifles or pistols and train in a way that is engaging in techniques capable of causing bodily harm, injury, or death. So there goes my fucking, if this were to get passed, there goes mine and every other firearm instructor's like ability to like earn a living right there. So that's number one.
Okay, so we could get this canceled though.
Interfere, interrupt, or attempt to interfere or interrupt government operations or a government proceeding. This is completely anti-constitutional. That's why we have a fucking militia. That's why we have a Second Amendment. Okay? And it's not the fucking National Guard. Okay? It's not. It's fucking responsible armed citizenry. The whole point of the Second Amendment that the fucking framers and the founders of this country wrote the Second Amendment for was to stand up against a tyrannical government. And yet here we have a tyrannical government saying it's illegal to train. It's illegal to use non-lethal training ammunition.
If you have a firearm.
Yeah. You can only have
if it's in your car and you got pulled over because they were doing random stops through town hall or whatever the hell it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Completely unconstitutional. Like this is exactly why we have the Second Amendment. We have the Second Amendment so that we can have responsible armed citizenry that can stand up against a tyrannical government when the government gets fucking too big for its britches. And I'm going to tell you right now, this current administration is too big for its britches and all the fucked up shit that it's doing. The weaponization of the FBI, the fucking, arresting political opponents. That's fucking right out of the communist playbook right there.
Killing journalists.
Like fucking all of the crazy shit that like commies did back in the day. You're starting to see the Democratic Party employing those tactics here in this country. Oh, we want to disarm you. Oh, we want to make it illegal for you to train. Oh, we want to make it illegal for you to have certain types of training ammunition. Oh, we want to make this illegal, that illegal. Like, I'm sorry, but we're on a fucking path.
What are you trying to prevent? It isn't just like school shootings and church shootings because a transgender person just shot up a church or whatever it was.
Right. Yeah. It's basically the government is just becoming more and more tyrannical, more and more irresponsible, and it's just we're going in a fucking really, really bad direction. As a country right now, I'm going to tell you, the writing is on the wall. We're going in a real bad direction. And I think, especially with the shit that's going on with Texas right now, with the open border shit, and just open borders and illegals just swarming across the border, and Texas being like, nope, we've had enough, and they're putting up razor wire.
Mm-hmm.
And the Biden administration's like, you can't do that. Texas is like, go fuck your mother. Which I'm really excited that they did that.
Yeah. Good job, Texas.
Mm-hmm. Good job, Texas. If I was the governor of Texas, I would have done the same thing a long time ago. I would have done the same thing a long time ago.
Just put them all on a bus and drop them off at the White House.
Yeah. Well, that's what they've been doing. All the conservative states have been like gathering up all the illegals and putting them on buses and sending them to the sanctuary cities. And now that's why they are completely overrun. I'm telling you, like, if Trump does get reelected, the busiest people on the planet is going to be our good friends at ICE.
Yeah.
Immigrations and Custom Enforcement is going to be working 24/7 to go out on the streets, find, arrest, and deport all of these fuckers that ran across our border. They're going to be the busiest. And then hopefully when he gets reelected, we can take the U.S. Air Marshals who have been fucking illegally surveilling American citizens. I'm sure it's legal. They've justified it under the Patriot Act. In case those of you that don't know, our fucking Air Marshal Service has not been doing Air Marshal security like they're supposed to be doing. The entirety of the Air Marshal Service has, in fact, been surveilling people that were in Washington, D.C. during January 6th. That's all they've been doing. You didn't even have to be in that particular area, just in Washington, D.C. And you know how they're doing that? They've identified people's cell phones because of the Patriot Act, the powers that the Patriot Act give the U.S. government, which should probably go away at some point. If they don't, well, it's only going to continue to get worse, and we're going to continue to be spied on. And your phone basically sends out a signal everywhere you go, everything you do, everything you buy. And it, in fact, all that data is being sold and is definitely can be acquired and accessed by old fucking Big Brother, the U.S. government.
Or whoever wants it.
Or whoever wants it. Whoever wants it can buy it and study all the analytics of it. So, yeah, it's not good right now. And the fact that they just came up with this bill. So you can't really do anything. So then here's the other thing, too, that I want to make mention of. I mean, I highly encourage you to go to congress.gov, put in S.3589, read the bill for yourself. But it's also, let's see, they go into detail about what's illegal and what's not. But what thing that stood out to me, in addition to, you can't basically conduct any type of training, or we could call that illegal, and we could throw you in jail for 2 years. We can fine you and throw you in jail for 2 years for going out to responsibly learn how to use and shoot your firearm.
So if you go to a concealed carry class.
Yep. If you go to a concealed carry class, that can be a violation.
Gathering.
Yep. That could be definitely a publicly patrol, drill, or engage in techniques capable of causing bodily injury or death, which is Article 1 of subsection 2742. Then if we go down to, and then it talks about traveling across a state line or a national border. So let's say you're going to go to a different state with your friends to train, and like 2 or 3 of you are like in the car together, and you get dimed out by somebody because you post something on social media. You're like, hey, we're going to go to Brian and Cato's low light class over in Wyoming, and you're driving over from Utah and Idaho, and you put that on there, and the wrong person sees it, and they report you.
Your neighbor at the Motel 6 was like, there's 4 people with guns cases walking to their car.
Yes. Okay. That's why all of this is just really, really bad. Really, really bad. Let me see here. Penalty. Anyway, there was something in, like, if you were acting... let me see here. Members of an organization that is authorized under... Okay, no, that's not it. Let me see here.
Straight to jail.
Yeah, straight to jail. Let me see here. Okay, yeah. Number 4. Here we go. Subsection 4 under 2742. Assume the functions of a law enforcement officer, peace officer, or public official, whether or not acting under color of law, and thereby assert authority or purport to assert, Jesus Christ, I can't read, assert authority over another person without consent of that person. So what that means right there is, like, let's say as a combat veteran who's got a lot of experience, and as a firearms instructor and CQB instructor, I, for whatever reason, am sitting in a parking lot in a Walmart or a public school, or I've gone to pick up my son from school, or I've dropped him off at school, and now I witness someone who is an active shooter get out of their vehicle, grab an AR or an AK or a fucking bolt action rifle or a shotgun or a pistol or a fucking slingshot or bow and arrow, and they decide they're going to go fucking a samurai sword. They get a samurai sword out of their trunk, and they start storming towards the school. They fucking shoot out the fucking glass in the door, and they go inside the school. I, with my level of training, am not going to sit there and wait for the cops. I'm not going to call the cops and be like, hey, I just watched a fucking potential active shooter do a ballistic breach on the front door of the school and go in with a fucking shotgun and a samurai sword. I am, in fact, going to take my EDC, whatever that may be. I'm going to call the police. I'm going to jump out, and I'm going to go save people's lives, because I would not be able to sleep at night if I have the level of training and the level of experience that I do as a fucking combat veteran and as an instructor and as a responsible armed citizen to protect innocent life. I would not sit there and just let the cops, I give the cops their 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 fucking minutes, depending on what part of the country you live in, to show up and have another Uvalde situation unfold. I'm sorry. I will go sit in court and take my lumps for whatever I've got to be responsible for going to save children's lives or innocent people's lives. You know, if I'm at fucking Walmart and I watch a dude get out of a fucking car and grab his fucking shotgun and rack around in it and start storming into the fucking Walmart, I'm not going to just sit there on my ass and let that happen, okay? I'm going to get out. I'm going to interdict that human being. I'm going to use I'm going to use the deadly force protocols that the law enforcement officers would use, because I know what those are because I've studied the law, and I'm not going to allow an active shooter situation to unfold in front of my face on my watch. I'm just not going to. But under this law, if it's passed by assuming the functions of a law enforcement officer, peace officer, or public official, whether or not acting under the color of law. So that says right there, whether or not I'm acting under the law or not. So like I'm licensed legally to carry a firearm. I have been trained at the highest level. I have real world experience. I am going to interdict an active shooter legally. It says right here, whether or not acting under the color of law, I can still be charged and prosecuted under this particular act. So if I get out of my car and I go in there and I run into the Walmart after this guy and he is standing there and he fucking takes aim on a fucking pregnant mom and her 2 kids pushing their cart down an aisle, and I engage, give him a verbal warning, and he swings that gun at me, that's hostile intent. I neutralize him. I save my life. I save the lives of all the people in Walmart that day. I can still be charged and prosecuted under this law.
Because you impersonated an officer and did the other thing.
Yeah. Well, it says right here, I can't assume the functions of a law enforcement officer, peace officer, or public official. Okay? Which I'm going to tell you right now, 95% of the police I'm friends with and that I interact with have told me on several occasions, yes, if you're sitting there with your level of training, your level of experience, your level of knowledge, and you are seeing an active shooter situation unfold, please go save lives.
Right, but even worse is that encompasses home defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it certainly does. Yeah.
You're supposed to call the cops, not shoot the person that broke into your house.
Right.
You're assuming
the
role of a peace officer.
You are assuming, yes, if somebody home invades you, and comes in with hostile intent, and you kill them because you're defending your home.
They're wording it so they can sue you.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. You had a gun, so you're bad, so we sue you.
Yeah, or that you get arrested under this law and thrown in jail.
Yeah, and your life gets ruined.
And it says that it has the fucking, and here's what's crazy about this. It has the punishments under here. Yeah, here it is right here. In the case of a violation that results in bodily injury, the person shall be fined under this title and imprisoned for not more than 5 years or both. And here's what's wild. Death. The person shall be, so if in the case of the violation results in a death, i.e. what I just described, some fucking whack job goes into the Walmart to murder people and I interdict him and I kill him before he's able to fucking kill anyone, the person shall be fined under this title and imprisoned for any term of years up until life. So if this passes,
so murder.
Yeah, I can go
life
to jail.
Sentence.
I can get a life sentence for going in and interdicting an active shooter in whatever scenario you want to imagine as a responsible armed citizen supporting the security of the community and law enforcement officers abroad. Okay? This is the direction our country is going, people. And this is the people that you keep electing and putting in office. Okay? They're anti-constitutionalists. They're communists. They don't have the fucking Constitution in mind. They don't have what makes this country great. They don't support it. They hate it. They want to tear it down. They want to subvert and control you. I hate to remind everybody of what happened with COVID. I know everybody's forgotten and swept it under the rug already. You know who didn't forget? Me. I didn't forget what happened during COVID. The most grotesque display of fucking government overreach on the local, state, and federal level that I've ever seen in my lifetime. Okay? If you think this shit can't happen, it can. That's why it's super, super important to get to the fucking ballot box and vote. Okay? Because we have a fucking administration right now that is not supporting the Constitution of the United States, is spending money at an astronomical rate and driving us into fucking poverty. Inflation has gone up. It's fucking disgusting. Okay? So I'm going to get off my soapbox because we've been going for an hour and 7 minutes. But that is what you've seen over on Mike Glover's. This is it's what he's been ranting about as well. Okay? So, yeah. S.3589. Get on the Congress. Call your congressional representatives and be like, fuck no. Okay. And with that, I am officially done ranting. How do you feel about it?
It's just all legalese speak so that you get in trouble and they can nail you for no matter what.
Yep.
Like, was it? Find me the man, I'll show you the crime.
Mm-hmm. Well, since I'm a former combat veteran, I'm probably already on the watch list. And with this podcast and all the shit that I've said on this podcast, I'm definitely on a watch list somewhere, probably. It's okay. I'm going to keep being a red-blooded American and a constitutionalist. And I'm going to keep being a voice for the Constitution of the United States. Because that's what I believe in. That's what I fought for. That's what makes this country great and amazing. That's why we're still the beacon of the world. That's why we have fucking 1 million people fucking every week fucking streaming over our southern border. Because everybody does want to be here in America. So, with that, we're going to get the fuck out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Weapons Free Wednesday. And we will catch you on Monday with Todd Hodnett. Until then, peace.
Anyone who runs is a VC. Anyone who stands still is a well-disciplined VC.